Hey Alottle family, welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time here, my name is Cami Ewalt. Today I just want to real quick show you guys how to customize an Etsy file in Silhouette Studio, and then we're also going to do a review of the Artistry Fast Set Epoxy, which is not a new product, but it's new to me, so let's get started. Alrighty, so we got this adorable file from KRISTEN Thompson over at KTomp Designs on Etsy. I will link her in the description along with a 20% off discount off her entire shop, but does not include printed transfers or custom listings. So we got this downloaded, uploaded it to Silhouette. It came in at 8 inches by 9.25. And we are going to come over here to the text panel, select that, and type out the first of our two names. This is Audra, and then we're going to reselect it to give us a cursor to then be able to type out Lindsay. And I'm going to select both of these, come up here, change it to black because a lot of the other writing on this image is black. And I am going to come over here to the text style panel and choose a font. Now I tried to choose one that I thought was close to the script font in this file, and I think it's closest to Samantha Upright, which I actually got from Creative Fabrica. So I will leave a link to that font in the description as well. So I'm just going to change these two names to this Samantha Upright, and then I'm going to go ahead and just overlay it. Make sure that it's coming in on top. If it's not on top, or if you happen to have selected the file, the picture part of this, just click on the names and push bring to front, or right click on the image and push send to back, and that will allow these names to come to the front. So then I'm just going to resize these down and kind of nestle them up under the two girls in this picture. And really that is all, you guys, because we are just going to be printing this. We're not cutting this, so like the words aren't going to cut out or anything. So because we're only printing this is going to print exactly the way you see it on your screen. So now I want to come up here and I want to align middle to make sure those names are the same height. And then I'm going to drag over both names and the image, right click, and select group. That way I can move them all together and don't have to worry about any of them coming apart. So then I'm going to right click and flip horizontally. This is going to mirror the image so it prints backwards, and I'll show you guys why here in just a few minutes. We are then going to come to the page setup panel, and we're going to come down here to media size, and we are going to change it to A4, which is the size of this particular water slide. That's what we want it to print on. So then I'm going to kind of zoom out here and rotate it, and see this red border? That is our print border, and that's what we want to nestle our image in, so we get all of it on this A4 water slide paper. Then we're going to come up here to File and drop down to Print. After we select print, it's going to bring this up, and everybody's printer is going to be different. This is just kind of an overview of how my printer works. I then go to preferences, and then I'm going to come down here to paper type, and I choose other photo inkjet papers, and you guys will have to see what your printer offers. I'm not sure on all of the different options. But then I come up here to page quality, and I want to change it from letter down to, again, A4. So my printer and my program both are printing or telling me we're printing on the same thing. So then I just hit apply and then print. And then I print this out on my Hiipoo water slide, let it dry, and then I'm going to go in with Rust-Oleum Clear Gloss Spray Paint. I'm going to spray 3 light coats. I'm going to let it dry in between each coat, and then we're going to move on to the next part. We are working with a 20-ounce skinny from Maker Flow Crafts that I have already prepped and spray painted white. And I just take this mirrored image, the image side touching the cup, so the backing is out, and I'm just making sure that we're completely lined up. I want those seams top and bottom to be lined up, and then I just take a paper towel, get it wet, and I just start rubbing, just like you would if you were putting on a temporary tattoo onto a tumbler. I found that this works really, really well for me. So the most important thing here is to make sure that it stays still while you're putting all of this water onto it. You just want to make sure that it's completely saturated so that that water slide releases from the backing. And then once I feel like everything's smoothed down, I've got it all wet, I'm going to slip my hand into the cup itself, and then I'm going to just ever so slowly pull this backing off. I then make any adjustments that I need, make sure that seam is laying flat, and then I take this little silicone squeegee paintbrush thing and I go through and I'm going to push out all the bubbles, any water, all of that's going to interfere with a seal from this water slide to the cup. So you want to really take your time to make sure that you get any and all water and bubbles out of it. Okay, you guys? Once I'm pretty confident that I've got the bubbles and the water out, then I just take my craft knife, and you guys want to make sure that you have a brand new blade on here so that it doesn't pull at the water slide, that it just truly slices right through. And I just take my time and cut as straight as I can, and then we're going to pull off this little sliver of water slide and go over it and make sure one more time that the seams are laid down flat. I then let that dry for about an hour, and then I'm going to coat the entire thing with gloss polyacrylic, and then I'm going to let that dry completely before I start into the next step. I warmed up part A of Artistry Fast Set Epoxy just a little, not as much as I would for normal epoxy, because you do not want to get it too hot. It will cause your epoxy to flash cure, which means it's a chemical reaction that hardens it immediately. It makes it super hot and causes it to harden, and then obviously it's useless for your project. So you don't want to heat it up too much, but I found that if I didn't heat it up at all, I was getting quite a few bubbles. So I mixed up 5 milliliters here and put a super thin coat on, just enough to be able to adhere our glitter that we're going to do. And then I am just at the very, very tiniest bit of the bottom, and then the entire bottom of the cup. I wanted just a little bit to accentuate this design. I didn't want it to be like super stark and just plain. So I did glitter the bottom and then just a tiniest bit around that top rim. This is 1 part First Dance, 1 part Marshmallow, and 1 part Opal of My Eye glitters, all from Grateful Glitters. They combined to make a beautiful shimmery white, like Snow White kind of thing. And I just think it offset this tumbler super, super well. And then just using my fingers, I just barely sprinkled a little bit while my cup was angled, just to have tiniest bit fall up. I don't want to like cover the names too much or anything like that. And I did that on both sides. And with all epoxies, where I start with part A, and I am putting in just a little bit of that warmed up part A. I'm doing 7.5 milliliters part A, and then I'm going to do 7.5 milliliters part B to make a combined total of 15. And you want to make sure that you're getting your ratios exactly right to the very best of your ability, because it will sometimes throw off the outcome of your cup. You could have tacky layered cups, you could have fish eyes, like there's quite a few things that could happen if you don't get your mix ratio right. So it's worth it to take your time here, you guys. So when I figure out that I've got equal amounts of both parts, I set up a 3-minute timer and I just start mixing so slow. The slower you can mix, the less bubbles you're going to have, the better the outcome at the end. So after I've mixed just a couple of minutes here, I wanted to show you guys, as those chemical reactions start happening between the A and the B, you're going to get this kind of frosty, wispy kind of stuff. It will become completely cloudy, and then you're just going to continue to mix until it goes clear again. Sometimes you can feel it kind of like it's thin once it's all completely and totally mixed, but not always. So part of the way through, I will stop, scrape off my mixing tool, and then scrape the sides of it off just to make sure that I'm getting all parts. There's not like a little bit of part A left on my mixing tool. And once I'm done, as you can see, there's quite a few bubbles here, but I will set up my 3-minute timer, and then at the end of the 3 minutes, you'll be able to see that those bubbles have risen to the top and pretty much have taken care of themselves. So then I'm going to mix in a little bit of a glitter additive. It's called Over the Rainbow from Grateful Glitters. It's just a little bit of holographic shimmer just to kind of tie in the glitters and create a little bit of, like I said, that subtle shimmer on this white cup. It actually made it turn out beautiful. I am going to then torch this cup to make sure that I've got any micro bubbles out. If I needed to, I could come back in with the second part of a flood coat in only 45 minutes to an hour. But with this one, I just let it spin for 2 hours, and then I came back in and sanded the rim with an 80 grit sanding pad on my orbital sander, and then I'm going to come back in with one more coat of Artistry Fast Set Epoxy. The awesome thing about Fast Set is that you're able to use it as the final coat, whereas some other Fast Sets you cannot. This has a great amount of UV additives to it, so it will keep your whites white for a very long time. And I'm super grateful for Artistry and the entire team. They're always there to answer my questions. So I did have some about the bubbles of this, but we wound up working it out. So I think it came together very well. I know this is a super fast tutorial, but I hope it's helpful to somebody who might have been wanting to try Artistry Fast Set. So definitely check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. I've got some new content coming, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.